I was over at my local Bootsale on Saturday morning. I thought I got there quite early, because I think it only opened like 7. I got there between 7 and half 7. There was a lot of games there, but there was no great deals to be had whatsoever. It was a lot busier on a Saturday, I've noticed, than a Sunday. But everyone had the prices either same as CEX or looked on eBay, or if not equal to CEX, more expensive. There was no great deals in anything unless there was something you wanted for yourself. But there was no point in hunting for anything to try and, you know, flip or anything like that. I'm sure there was. My good friend Mitch over at Retro Rummage, he's local as well, so he beat me to it again. I think he was there a little bit earlier, so I saw a video of his. I'll put a link to his channel, so do make sure you go check out Mitch if you haven't done so already, over at Retro Rummage. He did find some good deals. I saw it on his video. I thought something looked familiar. So when I commented and he said it was the same boot sale, and I told him basically how I got on. So yeah, there wasn't much there at all. Didn't do any filming there. There is a couple of pictures of, you know, what this is about now. But what I did see, and it was probably for the best, everything happens for a reason. So basically, there was a huge Spectrum, you know, specky stuff bundle. And I started all the way at the bottom end. So I parked the bottom end, easy to get out, and I thought I'd work my way back up. Generally, I thought that's a clever tactic, unless there's people still setting up, but there wasn't, and I thought it was probably for the best because people generally start from the front, so you've got more chance. Unless you're there first, you might as well start at the back. At least you can sort of jump ahead of people, because everyone seems to go, you know, from front to back and work through that way. Now, this fella was right. I saw him right at the end. So by the time I got to him, I've been there for like a good hour, you know, just casually walking around, nice and leisurely. By the time I got to him, it was right at the end, but he was actually on the front row, so his stuff was pretty much all gone. But he had this bundle here, so there's absolute. He had, you know, couple of different systems, loads of tape decks, 2 different Spectrum systems, loads, you know, a few games, loads of controllers and stuff. Everything was all there, which I'll show you in a second. And it's probably for the best. The reason why I say this is I wasn't expecting to see something like this, and he was giving prices individually. He was saying, "Oh, I'll take a lot for 100," and I was like, "Fucking hell, mate! I've only got 35 quid with me cash." But I did keep on going back, trying to find out what his best price was, and I was talking to him a bit. It was all genuine, like he loved it all. It was all this stuff is at his loft. I'm assuming he's moving. There was loads of different stuff there. It weren't just games, all different random stuff, and it was his old computers. And he said he had the original. So I don't know a lot about this stuff at all. He said he had the very first Spectrum that someone did buy straight off of him. That was the only thing that was taken from the bundle. So it probably worked out for the best. Because if I saw it at the beginning of the day, I wouldn't have known which of the systems to grab. I mean, I can kind of show you this now anyway. So there was the ZX Spectrum Plus, and then the ZX Spectrum Plus 2, I believe. So I know very little about them. So I didn't know really which one to get. I kind of obviously wanted both. I wanted the whole bundle, so I didn't know which one. If there was a third console, it probably, and it, you know, if it's rare and is the ones that have, then I definitely wouldn't have been able to afford the bundle. I'm a bit funny like that. I wouldn't know which one to get, so I'd probably end up leaving it and then kicking myself. So I kept on going away and rethinking it. Didn't really have the money to splash out for something like this. I actually had a load of games ready to go and trade into my local stores, but I'll keep that for another time. That was all in the car ready to go. So I went to pick up Mast System and some other bits. But anyway, that's another story. So, reason why I say it worked out for the best, like I said, I definitely wouldn't have been able to afford it with everything. And I wouldn't have been able to make my mind up and be like, which one do I want? I wouldn't be able to make that decision there and then on the spot, and I'd be kicking myself about it all day. So because that went, it probably took the price down, and the fact that I saw him at the end of the day, we've been there hours, he's looking at going home soon, this is like 9 o'clock or whatever, you know, buyers have been there since 7, sellers have been there since 6, half 6, so he's probably thinking, you know, he said to me, I don't want to put it back in the loft, you know, he's like, oh, I'll give it all for 80, you know, here's where the cash point is, blah, blah. I said, look, I know I'm local, will you do bank transfer? And he was like, a bit funny about it, he didn't have his phone. I talked him into it, said that I could show you receipt and all this, and said, look, you'll see me here again, do you know what I mean? I'm not going to like mug you off or whatever if something doesn't go through. I talked him into it, and then I managed to say, look, bottom price 70 for the lot. So I was really happy. So obviously, like I said, so that was 2 Spectrum computers there, and then a load of joysticks. There's a whole bag of stuff you can probably see from some of the pictures. And there are games there. There's a tape deck, which it's not a great tape deck, but the tape deck's all universal. It's a sharp one. It's not genuine for the computer, but I've got, I've got Commodore 64 genuine tape deck and another one, and they're all universal, like I say. Robocop box, pretty cool. Is that even a? I don't even know what that's for. I don't know if that's just what game that's for. It's Amiga or what? And then there is some games in here. Nothing that. Platoon, Green Beret, Dizzy. So there's a few games in there which you didn't like. You could sell, I'm sure. There's tons of games in here actually, but that looks like a crappy golf one. Thanks Laddie for sports titles, Scott, till you tried them. Dynamite Dan. So there's a few good games in here. Load of there's a couple of big box ones as well. With all the booklets in there as well. What else we got? Paul. Yeah, so he's got all the stuff that goes with it. There was an expansion pack as well in here somewhere. So I got all that bundle, so I was really happy with that. And the main factor of it was, like I said, it all happened for a reason. If I saw him at the beginning of the day, he wouldn't have wanted to sell it for that cheap. I wouldn't be able to afford it all as a bundle originally. For that, cause it'd be a lot more. Like I said, he wanted 100 for it. I managed to get him down to 70, and there would have been another computer before. So I think really, in hindsight, for two specky systems, all the leads and stuff, I just had to go for it. So generally, other than old consoles, well, I don't go this old. So generally, big arcade fan. There's a couple of cabs in here, which I show when I do a room tour. It's the one you can see in the corner. That's basically an original cab, but it's had the boards where it's not like a jammer board in there or anything like that. It's a computer in there basically, with loads of games on. And when I go into my local arcade, which is now closed down, RIP Neon Knights, they have got obviously all original arcade cabs, and that's generally why I really like my arcade games. I play them so much on the original boards, etc. And like emulated, that when you go to play a port, which all these old consoles are, all these Commodores and the Spectrums and the Ataris, they are ports of arcade games that don't quite stack up. So I haven't really got that into it. So other than as far back as I wouldn't go anywhere before the NES or anything like that. I'll have a Nintendo, Master System, and obviously everything from then to present, PlayStation, Xbox 360, SNES, N64, GameCube, original Xbox, Wii. It's all plugged in and to get used regularly. But I never go up the old stuff. However, I did say it would be cool to sort of get into it, especially with the arcade not being as accessible. So I won't be able to play as many of the original games. So it'd be good to try and see what they are like. So that's what sort of got me into it, thinking about it a little bit more, knowing that the arcade, my local arcade, will be going. Obviously there are different arcades I can visit, but I used to go to the arcade pretty much every weekend. It's like a bar arcade, open till 11 o'clock at night. There's no point me talking about or advertising it now, because it's gone. So I'll put up some pictures on this video anyway, so you can sort of see what that was like. So I did take some pictures of the cabs before we left there. So I thought, good time now to actually get into some of these, this generation of stuff. So first thing I wanted to do was track down Dragon 32, which is what my dad had and played. So my friend Rob, one of my good mates, he actually had a mate that was selling some stuff, so I managed to track down. Obviously the box is battered, falling apart, but can't wait to give that a crack just for, it's not something that's going to be regularly played, let's be honest. That might be a good sign. But I just wanted to, just because it's the one my dad had, so it might be some nostalgia with some of the games, whether I can remember, because I'm so young, but who knows. But so I wanted to track that down, just whenever I asked my dad. He's not into anything like this, but he does remember the old Dragon 32. So he had that, and he had a load of Commodore 64 stuff. He done me a really good deal, so I can show you that as well. So there's two Commodore 64s, they're well loved and yellowed. One's up there on display, which you can't see. Again, I'm going to do a room tour at some point, so you'll be able to see everything that's in here anyway. So I got that, which is sort of, we've recently been trying to hook up and tuning, etc. Had some failed attempts, got a dodgy CRT, so I'm using like another TV, it's not a CRT. At the Bootsale, I was hunting for leads. Anyway, long story short, I can tune it in, but it's not like great. And then, so other than the Commodore 64 and the Dragon, the other big one, which I wanted to get, everyone's got the Commodore 64, is the Atari, and I do love cartridges over the tapes, I think. A lot easier, obviously, with the loading, etc. So this is kind of the GOAT for me and a lot easier to get into. Atari's a nice stepping stone. So other than the Mini, C64, haven't really done much. So this is, I've showed this in reverse order actually, sorry. So I've got this, is got a good little hookup, I think from Swap Shop, from Nintendo Arcade Addicts. Go check out his latest video, big announcement about his museum. I'll put a link in the description for him as well, to his channel. And a link for Swap Shop to Retro Chef. But yeah, I got this 2600 Junior, which that is. So it's styled a bit like the 7800, isn't it? So I did actually quite like that style rather than the actual woody one. And I thought, get 7800, looks cooler and I can play the better games. But that's 2600 Junior, it's pretty cool. So I got that off a really good deal. And then I picked up, this is off Facebook Marketplace after the boot sale. Went up to Langdon, tenner, no leads or anything. But yeah, he had a 2600. A bit confused really, because I didn't realise, I thought it was just the Junior which was styled like that, but this obviously is different. So, like I say guys, I know very little about this. I mean, just the specky stuff. I know, like, obviously a couple of mates who are, you know, Paul Retro Bait and Cy Ginger Hippie Gamer, obviously Lee Nerdy Geek as well, they're all into it and that, and one of them I did message and Cy sort of filled me in. With What's What, like I say guys, let me know anything you can about this stuff because it's all completely new to me. As you can see, the old Donkey Kong cartridge, that's all I've done. I've just played a few of the classic games. Got down there, Space Invaders, Cuba, but it is just funny. I'll do some comparisons, but like the Donkey Kong compared to the, like, I love playing the Donkey Kong arcade. I need to do my top 25 list, keep going about it with the game footage, but I keep changing my list all the time. It's an absolute nightmare trying to pin it down, but I've been having fun with it, that's what it's all about. So be patient, that will come out at some point. So yeah, so I've got the Atari, got the Commodore 64 and the Dragon. So like I said, I wasn't planning on the Spectrum at all, but that would be the next one, like to complete the sort of main ones until you venture off with other stuff, BBC Micros and the Amigas and all that sort of stuff. So this would be all I would want to get, first of all. But like I said, I haven't really played much of the others, I've got them going, so I wouldn't have looked for a Spectrum probably for a good few months. But I thought my wife's going to kill me. She was very understanding. I said, look, this ain't something you're going to see. She says, no, you've got to get it when it's there. So, yeah, really happy with it because if I did go to get one of these computers, I'd have to find out which one I want. And then I'll probably pay as much as I've paid now just for the machine. So to get a bundle of a couple of the machines, tape decks, all the leads, games, it's, you know, I think that is a really good deal. So, yeah, so I'm really, really happy with that. So, really, it was a good little venture out of the Bootsale. Busy Saturday, I was very tired. It's hard to sleep in this heat, guys, it really is. If you're watching this back in the winter, enjoy it. Remember how bloody hot that was, a big summer heat wave of 2022. Anyways, I just want to show you guys basically what I've got. So let me know, what are the old specky games that I need to get? What are the must-haves that I need to have and need to play? So please let me know what I need to be getting in my life. And any information you can give me, guys, I'm very, very great at it, so I apologise if I've said something incorrect. But yeah, I know very little about this. Every day is a school day, so please do fill me in. And have I got a good deal or is it a shit deal? Let me know. Anyway, I'm Scott Marathon Gaming. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Join in with the high score challenge. There's only one episode left to get yourself into the final. Then the YouTubers who won each week will be in the final. Try and take home that prestigious trophy, which I'm looking at the shelf, which would be sad for that to go and leave the room. I'll just go on the internet, buy another one. Shh, only cost $8.99. Don't tell anyone that. Anyway, see you later. Cheers. I'm fast as fuck, boy! I'm Mario. And I am the Hedgehog. And today, with this